of taking a vote on this bill today. As I think my colleagues have heard loud and clear, I have deep concerns about what happens when temporary and permanent relief from abuse orders are issued in the state. It's a time of increased anxiety and terror for someone who's seeking a relief from abuse order, which at the end of the day is a piece of paper. We know that domestic violence cases involving guns are some of the most prominent fatalities that we have related to gun violence. My experience spending time in family court as the legal director of a domestic violence program is that it is still quite uneven around the state how firearms are relinquished for a emergency and permanent relief from abuse order, that they can be left to some satisfaction with police officers or a judge in the care of a family member. That is a concern that I have. The additional concern that I have is often around the state, if you are issuing a permanent relief from abuse order, it is incumbent upon the plaintiff victim to articulate a desire to have the weapons removed and where they should go. And that alone is an incredibly frightening process and requires a lot of courage and bravery from the victim. They may not even know that they have that right. And so I just ask in the future that the Senate Committee on Judiciary look further into the matter of permanent and emergency relief from abuse orders to ensure that victims have the rights that they deserve, that federal law grants them evenly across the state. And with that, I end my interrogation.
Are you ready for the question? The senator from Essex Orleans is recognized.
Madam President, unfortunately, this isn't a bill that's going to help gun violence in the state of Vermont. We just have a group of people who don't like guns. I get it. I don't like Brussels sprouts. I don't write legislation canceling Brussels sprouts.
Point of order.
Senator from Windham is recognized.
Here on the Senate floor, we cannot impugn the motives of anyone else on the floor.
And I apologize, Madam President. I'm not meaning to impugn.
And as we're in the Senate chamber together for the first time and off of Zoom, making sure that we're at all times respecting the rules, the senator's point of order is heard. I do not believe that the senator from Essex Orleans is intending to impugn or to act inappropriately, but just a reminder to speak to the bill in particular.
Thank you, Madam President. Vermont, in my opinion, does not have a gun violence program. We have, as responsible gun owners, took every effort to have hunter safety courses and to make sure that people are very respectful of other people's rights. This bill tries to, in my opinion, do things that are already under law protected, as far as bringing guns into places that have no trespassing orders. This isn't going to stop people who want to do bad things. I heard the senator earlier, and I heard of, and we know, of course, because it's in our area, as far as the death that occurred in a hospital parking lot. Well, it could have been in any parking lot. It could have been in Walmart. It could have been in, it just happened to be, from what all accounts, two drug dealers that didn't get along. And I don't know that if this law is going to help anybody get past that. We have a long, strong history of responsible gun ownership in the state of Vermont. You're not going to stop criminals as far as to pass this law. You're going to stop responsible gun people. It's going to it's going to try to inhibit them from legally buying firearms. I guess probably I've said enough about it. I just wanted to stand up for all the responsible gun owners in Vermont and say that I hear you with all the letters and emails that you sent me, and I'm doing my part to make sure that your rights aren't infringed upon. Thank you, Madam President.
The question is, shall the Senate amend the bill as recommended by the Committee on Judiciary? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye. The senator from Bennington?
This the amendment?
It is.
No, I will withdraw the roll call.
Okay. The senator from Bennington has withdrawn the request for a roll call vote. Again, the question is, shall the Senate amend the bill as recommended by the Committee on Judiciary? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay.
No.
The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. And you've amended the bill as recommended by the Committee on Judiciary. The question now is, shall the bill be read the third time?
Roll call, please.
The senator from Essex Orleans has requested a roll call vote. Are you ready for the question? Again, the question is, shall the bill be read the third time? The Secretary is kindly asked to call the roll.
Senator Ballant.
Yes.
Senator Baru.
Yes.
Senator Benning.
No with explanation.
Senator Bray.
Yes.
Senator Brock.
No.
Senator Campion.
Yes.
Senator Chittenden.
Yes.
Senator Clarkson.
Yes.
Senator Collimore.
No.
Senator Cummings.
Yes.
Senator Hardy.
Yes.
Senator Hooker.
Yes.
Senator Ingalls.
No.
Senator Kitchell. Senator Lyons.
Yes.
Senator McDonald.
Yes.
Senator Mazza.
Yes.
Senator McCormack.
Yes.
Senator Nitka.
Yes.
Senator Parent.
No.
Senator Pearson.
Yes.
Senator Perschlick.
Yes.
Senator Polina.
Yes.
Senator Rahm Hinsdale.
Yes.
Senator Sears.
Yes.
Senator Sirotkin.
Yes.
Senator Starr.
No.
Senator Terenzini.
No.
Senator Westman.
Yes.
Senator White. Senator Kitchell.
Please listen to the results of your vote. The yeas 23, excuse me. The yeas 23, the nays 7. And you've ordered third reading of S4, but I believe we do need to return to the senator from Caledonia for his explanation.
Thank you, Madam President. On this bill for two reasons. First, I am not comfortable allowing out-of-state individuals come to Vermont in possession of large capacity magazines, which our own citizens are prohibited from possessing. It is insulting to Vermonters who are lawfully exercising their constitutional rights. I would prefer our own citizens had the same right of ownership. Secondly, even though proponents claim it is just temporary, this bill clearly eliminates due process of law by depriving someone of their property on a mere accusation, almost always at a time when the owner of that property has no idea a court proceeding is taking place. This represents a significant shift in constitutional law, and it should not go unnoticed. The greater fear is that it establishes a precedent for the next attempt to erode constitutional rights. Thank you, Madam President.
We'll now move on to the next. Senator from Wyndham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I ask that the rule be suspended and we move forward through all remaining stages of passage.
Thank you. The senator from Wyndham has moved that the rules be suspended and S4 be placed in all remaining stages of passage. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you've suspended the rules and placed S4 in all remaining stages of passage. We have on the calendar now for third reading, S4, an act relating to a 48-hour waiting period for firearms transfer. Third reading was ordered just now. Are there any amendments before third reading? Please listen to the third reading of S4.
S4, an act relating to a 48-hour waiting period for firearms transfers.
You've heard the third reading. The question now is, shall the bill pass? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay.
No.
Ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you've passed S4. The senator from Wyndham is recognized.
Madam President, at this time, I ask that the rules be suspended and we message our actions on S4 to the House Floor.
The senator from Wyndham has moved the rules be suspended and S4 be messaged to the House forthwith. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay.
No.
The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you've suspended the rules and messaged S4 to the House forthwith. We have on the calendar for action S247, an act relating to prohibiting discrimination based on genetic information, which was introduced on January 13th. It was referred to the Committee on Finance, which reports it has considered the bill and recommends that the bill be amended as appears on pages 852 to 858 of today's calendar. That when so amended, the bill ought to pass. Please listen to the second reading of S247.
S247, an act relating to prohibiting discrimination based on genetic information.
The senator from Addison, Senator Hardy, is recognized for the report of the Committee on Finance.
Thank you, Madam President. S247, it's bill prohibiting discrimination based on genetic information, was heard by the Committee on Finance. According to testimony we heard in committee, we heard from medical research. Let me start over, excuse me. According to testimony heard by the Committee on Finance, we heard medical researchers and care providers at the UVM Medical Center, our overall health and well-being are determined by many factors. About 60% of overall health is social determinants, such as income and education level, which can determine access to housing, food, and medical care, and personal behaviors such as exercise, smoking, and diet. Medical care contributes to about only 10% of overall health and well-being. The other 30% of health and well-being is determined by our genetics. Yet genetic information is not routinely used in healthcare. Recently, however, healthcare providers into the primary care.
Unfortunately, Senator, ask you to stop for a moment. We've lost our feed.
We may have just lost this.
All right, just a moment.
Okay.
The senator from Addison is recognized again to continue the report. Thank you.
Madam President. Yet genetic information is not routinely used in healthcare. Recently, however, healthcare providers in Vermont have begun offering genomic tests to patients to integrate genetically determined health risks into the primary care of patients. Single gene genetic disorders affect about 20% of the Vermont population, and carrying a genetic change that could cause disease in children is present in about 80% of Vermonters. By identifying genetically driven disease risks before the onset of symptoms, doctors are able to monitor for disease onset, identify the early stages of disease when intervention may be more effective, provide appropriate treatments, and in some cases, mitigate the onset of symptoms or disease through lifestyle changes or medical intervention. Thus, genetic testing and information can lead to better care and health outcomes, and often prevent expensive treatments and care later in a patient's life. However, research has shown that fear of discrimination by insurance companies has been an obstacle to the use of genetic testing, genetic technology in medicine. In one study, 28% of people who declined to participate in genetic testing cited fear of discrimination in insurance as their primary concern. Since 2009, the Federal Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act has prohibited discrimination based on genetic information with respect to employment and health insurance coverage and rates. In addition, current Vermont law prohibits conditioning any insurance on the requirement that an individual undergo genetic testing. However, with the rise of online genetic testing sites and the increase in the use of genetic testing for healthcare prevention and care, S-247 adds these protections by prohibiting the use of genetic testing results and information of an individual or family member that may be associated with a particular genetic condition that has not yet resulted in a diagnosis as a condition of rates or provision or renewal of all types of regulated insurance in Vermont. So it moves beyond health insurance to other types of insurance. Now we'll get back. These provisions would apply to health, life, disability, and long-term care insurance policies, hospital and medical service corporation service contracts, and health maintenance organization or HMO benefit plans. The provisions would also be included in the unfair methods of competition and unfair or deceptive acts or practices in the business of insurance. In order to qualify for certain tax exemptions, medical and hospital service corporations would have to include in their annual report to the Commissioner of Financial Regulation a certification of non-discrimination based on genetic information. Finally, discrimination based on genetic information would also be prohibited for the provision of state assistance and benefits through the Department of Families and Children. It's important to note that the bill would not prohibit the use of genetic information that has resulted in a diagnosis, or the use of family history in general, or general medical records, or social determinants of health in the determination of insurance eligibility or rates. Those would remain the same. You can find the language of the bill on page 852 of today's calendar. Much of the bill is the repetition of identical language for each section of the statute that covers a different type of insurance. So if you look, section 1 of the bill includes the definitions, adding to the definition this expanded definition of genetic information. Section 2 adds expands the definitions in the condition of insurance coverage section of the statute. Section 3 includes this information in the life insurance section of statute. Section 4 includes this information in the unfair methods of competition or unfair and deceptive acts definitions for insurance. Section 4 includes the same information for nonprofit health maintenance organizations, or HMOs. Section 6 includes the information in the definition of pre-existing conditions. Section 7 and 8 includes the information or the prohibition of the use of this information in the annual reports to the Commissioner of Insurance from medical service corporations and hospital service corporations. And Section 9 is the provision about non-discrimination for the administration of benefits through the Department of Children's and Families. The effective date of the bill is July 1st, 2022. The committee heard from a number of witnesses, including the Director of Insurance Regulation at the Department of Financial Regulation, from a number of people at the University of Vermont Medical Center and the Larner College of Medicine, including 2 physicians who work in the area of genomic testing and research, the Director of Government Operations for UVMC, and then a number of people from the American Council of Life Insurers, as well as the sponsor of the bill, the senior senator from Chittenden, and our legislative counsel on this bill. The committee vote was 7-0-0, and we ask for your support. Thank you, Madam President.
Question is, shall the Senate amend the bill as recommended by the Committee on Finance? The senator from Washington is recognized.
President, may I inquire of the reporter?
You may.
I apologize because I think I may know the answer to this question. I know we're not supposed to ask questions we think we know the answer to, but I feel compelled to ask it because I've heard from constituents. Are there any circumstances where people would be forced to undergo genetic testing?
Oh, no, this does not require genetic testing of any kind. And in fact, there's already a provision in current law that prohibits insurance companies from requiring genetic testing for the provision of insurance or the rate setting of insurance. And nothing in the bill would require anyone to undergo genetic testing for the provision of health care either.
I apologize because that's what I thought. I appreciate the answer.
My pleasure.
Are you ready for the question? And the question is, shall the Senate amend the bill as recommended by the Committee on Finance? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've amended the bill as recommended by the Committee on Finance. The question now is, shall the bill be read the 3rd time? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've ordered 3rd reading of S 247. We now have on the calendar for action, or for 3rd reading, S 139, an act relating to public school mascots. 3rd reading was ordered on March 10th. Are there any amendments before 3rd reading? Please listen to the 3rd reading of S 139.
S 139, an act relating to public schools team mascots.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Senator from Bennington is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Just briefly, I missed an opportunity yesterday to thank Senator McCormick of Windsor for putting this bill in and for his work on it, and just wanted to take an opportunity to do that.
Are you ready for the question? And the question is, shall the bill pass? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay.
No.
Ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you've passed S 139. We also have for third reading S 173, an act relating to the State House Oversight Committee. Third reading was also ordered on March 10th. Are there any amendments on S 173 before third reading? Please listen to the third reading.
S 173, an act relating to the State House Oversight Committee.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've passed S 173. We also have S 206 for third reading. An act, it's on the calendar for third reading, S 206, an act relating to planning for the care and treatment of patients with cognitive impairments. Third reading was also ordered on March 10th. Are there any amendments before third reading? Please listen to the third reading of S 206.
S 206, an act relating to planning for the care and treatment of patients with cognitive impairments.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, and you've passed S 206. We also have on the calendar for third reading S 283, an act relating to miscellaneous changes to education laws. Third reading was also ordered on March 10th. Are there any amendments on S 283 before third reading? Please listen to the third reading of S 283.
S 283, an act relating to miscellaneous changes to education laws.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've passed S 283. We have on the calendar for third reading H 701. Third reading was ordered on March 10th. Are there any amendments before third reading? We have a report. Yes, an amendment, excuse me. The senator from Chittenden, Senator Pearson, is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. There is an amendment in the calendar on behalf of myself and the senator from Bennington that, if it's appropriate, I'd offer now.
Yep.
Senators will recall this bill has to do with cannabis fees for the recreational marketplace. And the amendment here, though, deals with the current medical program. It's a confusing bit of verbiage. Senators can find it 859 in the calendar. Bottom line is, last year we sunset the current medical program where it exists now under DPS and moved it to the Cannabis Control Board as of March 1st. Problem was, by March 1st, they weren't quite ready to bring it over. We attempted to address that in the Budget Adjustment Act, but that's not law. And so we live now in this limbo because we're past March 1st and we haven't accurately moved the program anywhere. So we're a little concerned that in a very technical sense, there is a lack of actual jurisdiction over the medical program. It's in a bit of legal limbo. What we're doing here is addressing that by making it clear that we consider this to be a significant enough problem that we allow it to qualify for emergency rules. Senators will recall that in the time when we authorize emergency rules, as soon as the rule is filed, they take effect. It's unlike normal rules that have to be approved. As soon as you file emergency rules, they are deemed to take effect. They have a short window, I want to say maybe 90 days before they expire, and they could be, in fact, repealed or overturned, but on filing, they take effect. What we're saying here is that the Cannabis Control Board can file the emergency rule and we can get ourselves out of this legal limbo. So that's what we've done. Senate Finance, and that's what we propose to do here. And then we change the effective dates to deal with that. Senate Finance tried to figure our way through that maze and approves this amendment and hopes the Senate will join us.
The question is, shall the Senate propose to the House to amend the bill as moved by the Senator from Chittenden and also the Senator from Bennington? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've amended the bill as recommended by the senators from Chittenden and Bennington. Are there any other amendments before third reading? Please listen to the third reading of H 701.
H 701, an act relating to cannabis license fees.
You've heard the third reading. The question now is, shall the bill pass? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've proposed to the House to amend the bill and as passed, or as amended. Thank you. The senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I ask that the rule will be suspended and we message our actions on H 701 to the House.
The senator from Windham has moved that the rules be suspended and our actions, that H 107 be messaged to the House forthwith. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've suspended the rules and messaged H 701 to the House forthwith. We have on the calendar for action S 140, an act.
Madam President, I wonder if we might pass over S 140. I'm waiting for some information from Ledge Counsel.
We will now pass over S 140, move on to S 188. An act relating to regulating licensed small cannabis cultivation as farming, introduced on January 4th. It was referred to the Committee on Agriculture, which reports it has considered the bill and recommends that the bill be amended as appears on pages 866, 870 of today's calendar, and that when so amended, the bill ought to pass. The bill was then referred to the Committee on Finance, which reports that the bill should be amended as recommended by the Committee on Agriculture, and that when so amended, the bill ought to pass. Please listen to the second reading of S 188.
S 188, an act relating to regulating licensed small cannabis cultivation as farming.
Senator from Chittenden, I believe, is giving the report for both the Committee on Agriculture and the Committee on Finance, and the senator is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. My agent tells me I'm getting typecast, and I tend to agree. I need to branch out, but here we are. This bill is actually does not represent a lot of change to current law, but it does. We are trying to wrestle here with the challenge of how exactly we treat cannabis farmers. When you grow hops or barley, you can make beer, but it's very clear that that is an agricultural activity, growing those products. When you grow rye, you can make gin and so on. You're always in the farming sphere. When you grow hemp, you are a farmer. When you grow higher THC cannabis, it gets tricky because frankly of federal prohibition. And the feds have a lot of influence over what we define as agriculture, and in particular, they fund a lot of the programs out of the Agency of Agriculture, and one must not irritate the feds in terms of what they will and will not fund at the Agency of Agriculture. So here we are trying to address that. I will say that the Senate has been clear, several times in fact, stating that growing cannabis is an agricultural activity. We are not always joined by the other body in that statement. So what we're doing here is trying to make clear kind of how we wish to treat farmers, not blowing open the doors, but in some cases extending the benefits and rights that we give to agriculture to cannabis producers. If you follow along on page 866, you'll see in the first section, we're striking current law, which stipulates that somebody growing cannabis outside does so in an enclosed locked facility, meaning a building, room, greenhouse, etc. When it comes to outdoor cultivation, and this parallels, by the way, what happens in the hemp universe too. Senators may recall when we first started the hemp program, there were some news stories about plants getting stolen. And I pity those kids that tried to perhaps smoke that hemp, because I remember fondly when I was in the other body, a Canadian policeman testifying that you would need to smoke the equivalent of a telephone pole's worth of hemp, and then you would only have a headache. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make light. We've had a heavy morning here. The fact is that there were some hemp plants stolen, and that's of great value to those farmers, and we should not make light of it. But when we passed the law that said you had to be enclosed, people did erect or imagined erecting fences and at quite expense to the producer, and a real, some would say, a stain on our landscape, et cetera. Fact is, Madam President, there is a very brief window when the hemp or the cannabis plant has value, and that is right at the end of its life cycle, right before it's harvested. So rather than a landscape dotted with fences and security systems and all manner of what have you to protect these plants that are in fact only valuable to somebody who steals them for a few weeks, we're recognizing the reality is that farmers have the ability, producers, growers have the ability to simply look after their crop in that short window, perhaps by camping out and protecting their crop firsthand. These are small plots. These are small plots. As we said yesterday in the fee bill, the biggest we're imagining outside is less than an acre. So we heard very plainly testimony that said it is not necessary to erect fences and have all sorts of elaborate things when in fact a couple of people camping out in the field could do a very effective job at security. Not to say that you couldn't steal plants, say in July or August, but they're worthless. They're absolutely worthless. It's like stealing a tomato plant before it has any tomatoes on it. And it will not be very much good. You can't really transplant it at that point. So Section 1, excuse me, changes that and recognizes the reality on the ground. Moving on to Section 2, we are, excuse me, we're making it clear that cultivators of all kinds come under required agricultural practices. This is actually considered in current law, but we're making it plain here. Further, at the bottom of 867, we are, this is really the heart of the bill. What we're doing here, Madam President, is beginning to try to say that if you're growing cannabis outdoors, only outdoors, and you are in a field that is already is already a farm. In other words, it's already regulated by required agricultural practices. It's already enrolled in current use. We're going to allow you to have a small permit. That's 1,000 square feet. That's pretty small. And we're going to grant you basically the benefits that we grant farmers. That means that your town zoning rules don't apply, for instance. But it's only tiptoeing in this direction, and it is only for small producers. small cultivators. You'll see that in small f, notwithstanding section A of this subsection A small cultivator license under this chapter. The problem is we can't just say you're a farm like we treat your neighbor who's growing corn, because that implicates the agency of ag, and they get pretty scared about that, and it threatens some of their federal funding and on and on and on. We can't jeopardize the benefits that the agency gets under federal law. So what we're doing here is itemizing the benefits and creating a parallel. It's clunky, but here we are. And then at the top of 868, you'll see to be eligible to enroll in the program. It's again talking about current use. That is current law, but we're restating it here because so it's all in one place. We also, section 3, senators will recall when we talked about the fees, we mentioned the change to a cultivator license so that somebody could sell seeds and plants. That was under the fee structure. This is giving them that authority to do that. We do the same under wholesaler's license in section 4, and page 869 is these conforming changes to what I've just described. Finally, section 6 at top of 870 recognizes the challenge and the hoops we're jumping through here all come back to the fact that the federal government is putting us in this position because of their stance on prohibition. So when the federal government comes to its senses and removes marijuana from Schedule 1, and that strange type, the strange spelling there is straight from federal statute. When they remove it from Schedule 1, we'll look at this issue again. We've directed the Cannabis Control Board to come back to us in that event and tell us where, how, and precisely some idea of do we move the whole thing under the agency of ag, et cetera. I would say the Committee on Ag would like to see this treated like an agricultural product, but we recognize between federal law and the newness of this whole universe that we will start very small and conservatively. The Committee on Ag heard from several witnesses, legislative counsel, folks from the Agency of Agriculture, the director of the Cannabis Control Board, as well as several board members. We heard from Vermont Growers Association. We heard from our former friend, the past senator from Essex Orleans, John Rogers. We heard from the sponsor, the senior senator from Bennington. Heard from Rural Vermont, Vermont Racial Justice Alliance, a handful of hemp and cannabis businesses, and NOFA. Our vote was 5-0-0, and we would appreciate the support of the Senate.
The senator is also recognized for the report of the Committee on Finance.
Thank you, Madam President. Finance looked at this because as we are creating the parallel treating this, let's say, near agriculture, we extend the sales tax exemptions to cannabis farmers. Again, just the small outdoor licenses. And recall that those are people that are currently farming. So we didn't like the idea of a farmer going into the agricultural supply store and buying a product and saying, no, this is for the corn on my field, and so I don't have to pay sales tax, but this is for my new cannabis crop, so I do pay sales tax. So we wanted to make it clear that in this very limited way, they're exempt from sales tax. And again, this is not a big hit to us because these are farmers that are already exempt. So Finance saw no problem with that, made no changes, and recommended passage on a vote of 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you. The question is, shall the Senate amend the bill as recommended by the Committee on Agriculture? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've amended the bill as recommended by the Committee on Agriculture. The question now is, shall the bill be read for the third time? Are you ready for the question? All those in, the senator from Chittenden is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. May I inquire of the reporter?
May.
I'm asking for some clarity on number 3 on page 868 and then number 4. So as you have described it, then this small lot would be allowed to be included in a use value appraisal that has already happened, or is this to allow for a use value appraisal for the half acre?
It must already be enrolled, Madam President.
Okay, so that then would include the exemption for taxes in the same way.
Precisely. The hope here is that actually this could be a diversification strategy for farms. And so, as we know, there's generational shift happening on farms across Vermont, and that's a real struggle and a real concern for our landscape. The hope here is that the next generation might actually be drawn to be part of the cannabis economy. And we picture, let's say, a niece approaching their uncle and saying, I'd like to do this. And the uncle says, well, I don't want to have to disenroll from current use or unenroll 1,000 square feet from current use. And so this makes clear that when you're currently a farm, because you're currently subject to the required agricultural practices and already enrolled, that land can stay enrolled.
May I ask another question, May? Madam President, then if I have a farm and I've got 900 acres of corn and a half acre of cannabis, if I decide to expand my cannabis operation to include 800 of those acres, then would the same tax exemption apply?
Madam President, under that scenario, the police would apply. What we're talking about here is the smallest permit that will be granted by the Cannabis Control Board, which is for 1,000 square feet. That's tiny. That is, some would critique us as saying ludicrously tiny. That's all we're talking about. Outdoor, smallest 1,000 square feet. The senator's example doesn't apply because she started out with a plot that's much bigger. Now, I believe the case is, as I mentioned yesterday, we are hoping people will choose to grow outdoor. It's much less energy intensive for one thing. But those will not be in permits on land that will be granted any of the benefits that we grant to agriculture. And the board will have to figure that out. It's my fervent hope that we will gradually move in that direction and treat the whole thing like agriculture. But we're not starting there. So the senator's example is too big to qualify under this proposal here. But it is just small. It's just the very smallest, and it's only on land that is currently farmed.
Thank you, Madam President, and I will make sure that I don't have the police coming by. Thank you.
The question now is, shall the bill be read for the third time? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've ordered third reading of S 188. That does complete the orders of the day. I've received word that we do have a few confirmations to take up now at this time. We have an appointment reported out of committee for confirmation. This is the appointment of Heather J. Gray of Queechee as Vermont Superior Court Judge for a term from and including January 3rd, 2022 to and including January 31st, 2027. The question is, shall the appointment of Heather J. Gray as Superior Court Judge be confirmed by Senate? For senators, I believe on page 911, we have the confirmations, and the senator from Windsor, Senator Nitka, is recognized for the Committee on Judiciary.
Madam President, Heather Gray of the Village of Queechee in Windsor County was sworn in as a Superior Court Judge on January 3rd, 2022. She was appointed to the bench by Governor Phil Scott after being thoroughly vetted by the Judicial Nominating Board. Gray grew up in Chittenden County and moved south 4 years ago. She is a graduate of Notre Dame College in Manchester, New Hampshire. She clerked for the Vermont Bar, working for Susan Flynn at Clark, Warner, and Flynn, May 2000, May 2004. She became a member of the Vermont Bar in March of 2005 and was admitted to practice in the U.S. District Court in Vermont in February 2006. She subsequently worked as an attorney in private practice for 3 years before joining the state's attorney, Franklin County, in 2008 and continuing there as a deputy until 2017. She then worked at the state's attorney and sheriff's office until her appointment to the bench. Prior to becoming an attorney, Judge Gray had extensive experience working as a paralegal at several law firms. Over her career, she has been involved in over 1,000 evidentiary hearings. She has handled cases in family court involving children in need of supervision as well as juveniles in delinquency cases. She has been the sole prosecutor in a variety of trials and conducted hearings in criminal court. Judge Gray has also been a traffic safety resource prosecutor, representing the state at trials and hearings in criminal court. Additionally, she instructs and trains officers at the police academy for the drug regulation expert position. Judge Gray has been active in volunteer work at a teen center, the Ronald McDonald House, David's House, and also the Woodstock Food Shelf. Described as a hard worker who enjoys interacting with people, is compassionate, and has an open mind. He feels that everyone needs to be heard in court and treated with dignity and respect. Judge Gray is well qualified to be a Superior Court judge. The vote in our committee was 5-0-0 in support of her confirmation, and we hope you will concur. Thank you, Madam President.
The question is, shall the appointment of Heather J. Gray of Queechee as Vermont Superior Court Judge be confirmed by the Senate? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've confirmed the appointment of Heather J. Gray of Queechee as Vermont Superior Court Judge. We'll pass over Justice Patrick Giron for today and move to the appointment of Howard A. Calphus as a member, as Vermont Superior Court Judge for a term starting June 23rd, 2021, and to and including March 31st, 2025. The question is, shall the appointment of Howard A. Calphus as Vermont Superior Court Judge be confirmed by the Senate? The senator from Caledonia, Senator Benning, is recognized for the report of the Committee on Judiciary.
Thank you, Madam President. Howard A. Calphus is resident of White River Junction. He began his higher education at the University of Massachusetts, graduating cum laude with a Bachelor of Arts degree, attended Seton Hall University School of Law, earning his Juris Doctorate. He's also attended the National Judicial College and University of Nevada in Reno with a Master of Judicial Studies. He was admitted to the Vermont Supreme Court and to the United States District Court in the District of Vermont in April of 1996. Beginning his legal career, Calphus was a sole practitioner initially, but then graduated to the Chittenden County Public Defender's Office, where he served as a staff attorney. He then went to become an assistant attorney general in the Attorney General's office here in Vermont. Was later an associate at Downs, Racklin, and Martin, served as staff attorney at the Vermont Department of Public Safety, and then became a hearing officer for the Vermont Judicial Bureau, and then became the presiding hearing officer in 2016. Therefore, if you happen to have gotten a traffic ticket and were contesting it, you likely appeared before Judge Calphus. Attorneys, when they are first practicing and gather experience, are occasionally asked to appear as a acting judge in various counties. I thought that I had the record of that because I was appointed to do so in 3 counties. But as an odd footnote to Judge Calphus, he actually appeared in all counties as an acting judge before he ever assumed the bench officially. The committee met with Judge Calphus. He was appointed by the governor, and we met to discuss his knowledge of the law and somewhat examine his personality. We found him to be warm, personable, thoroughly versed in the law, and we voted 5-0-0 in support of the nomination and would ask that this body do the same. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Before we take up the question, I am hearing some dinging of a phone. Just to remind senators that electronics in this chamber need to be on airplane mode or off completely. The question is, shall the appointment of Howard A. Calphus as Vermont Superior Court Judge be confirmed by the Senate? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you confirm the appointment of Howard A. Calphus as Vermont Superior Court Judge. This is the appointment of Elizabeth Novotny of Jericho as Vermont Superior Court Judge for a term beginning January 3rd, 2022, and including March 31st, 2027. The question is, shall the appointment of Elizabeth Novotny as Vermont Superior Court Judge be confirmed by the Senate? The senator from Wyndham is recognized for the report of the Committee on Judiciary.
Thank you, Madam President. Honored today to be reporting for confirmation Elizabeth Novotny. Beth grew up in Vermont, graduated from UVM, Suffolk Law School, and then came back to practice in Vermont. Since then, she has been a deputy state's attorney, been in private practice as counsel to the Department of Public Safety, the Department of Financial Resources, the Financial Regulation, Mosaic Learning Center, and other community groups. Her first assignment as Deputy State's Attorney was to work for Kevin Bradley in Chittenden County. She considered him a mentor in her formative years as a person with great integrity and compassion. As a young cop, he was the one who exposed the infamous dealings of Paul Lawrence, who was planting drug evidence. State's Attorney Bradley helped form her attitude toward justice. She has worked in civil, criminal, probate, prosecutor, defender, guardian ad litem. Many of us know her from her work here in the building. She feels that this policy work has given her a better appreciation of how laws are crafted and often the intent of the legislature. Her varied background makes her the ideal for the bench. She is excited to take on this new role in the courtroom, which she considers a community of people from different perspectives, all working in the interest of justice. The Judiciary Committee vote was 5-0-0, and we ask for your support in her confirmation. Thank you.
The question is, shall the appointment of Elizabeth Novotny of Jericho as Vermont Superior Court Judge be confirmed by the Senate? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've confirmed the appointment of Elizabeth Novotny as Vermont Superior Court Judge. I do believe that completes confirmations for today. The senator from Wyndham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Pending announcements, I move that the Senate stand in adjournment until 9:30 a.m. Tuesday, March 15th, 2022. And just by way of explanation, that is still a token session. Thank you, Madam President.
The senator from Wyndham has moved that, subject to any announcements, the Senate do adjourn until Tuesday, March 15th at 9:30 a.m. for a token session. Are you ready for, actually first, are there any announcements? Let's do some announcements. The senator from Wyndham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Government operations will meet at 1 o'clock. Just as a reminder, today, I believe, is the day that our campaign finance reports are due. I want to remind us of that. And I must say, however on earth did we function for 2 years without the ability to pass notes? Thank you.
Senator from Bennington is recognized.
Madam President, Senate Education will meet at 1:30.
The senator from Washington is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Finance will meet at 1:30.
The senator from Addison is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Natural Resources and Energy will meet 5 minutes after the fall of the gavel.
The senator from Bennington, or Caledonia, excuse me, is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate institutions will meet at 1 o'clock. Good news is we still do have all of the vendors from the Big E coming to normally bring us treats. Unfortunately, they're appearing by Zoom, so I would recommend you grab your lunch before you come into the chamber. Madam President, while I'm standing, I apparently misspoke with respect to Judge Calphus. His application form, which I was reading from, has his address as White River. But the senator from Colchester Grand Isle pointed out that he's actually a resident of Colchester. Thank you, Madam President.
Are there any additional announcements? The senator from Wyndham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. My apologies to the Senate Rules Committee, because I know everybody is hungry. I need to have a brief meeting with Senate Rules immediately following. Thank you. Yes, we'll stay here in the chamber, Madam President.
Any further announcements? Hearing none, seeing none, the senator from Wyndham has moved the Senate adjourn until Tuesday, March 15th at 9:30. Are you now ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the Senate stands adjourned until Tuesday.